this technical demonstration, we're going to begin the process of installing and implementing the Centrify Audit and Monitoring Service. Now, as you can see here, I've already launched the same installer that we've used throughout this training. You can see that we've installed the licensing service as part of authentication and privilege elevation. We will be prompted to install it a second time during this installation, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. Obviously, authentication and privilege has already been installed, and we can get a quick representation of that by identifying the access manager. The Centrify agent has been deployed to our systems. So all we need to do at this point is install the audit and monitoring services and begin the configuration process. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to simply click Audit and Monitor. And as you can see, it is wizard driven. So we'll go through the process, we'll click Next and accept the terms of our license agreement. Now, this is what we were referring to earlier. You can see that the specific product components are going to be different from that of authentication and privilege. This is going to include our audit manager, our audit analyzer, our audit module for PowerShell, as well as our audit collector, audit management server, and once again, the Centrify licensing service. So for this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and leave it intact except for the licensing service. So we've got all of this in place. We'll go ahead and click Next. We'll have to choose the destination folder, which we're going to leave it as the default. We'll click Next once again. We'll confirm our settings and begin the installation process. Now, as you can see, the desktop is automatically going to be updated with the Audit Analyzer and Audit Manager shortcuts. And now, as you can see, the management services installation for audit and monitoring service has already been completed. Now, we can go through the audit configuration wizard, but for the next technical demonstrations, we're going to actually go through each of the components separately. You can use the configuration wizard, of course, that will walk you through the process of configuring. But for this demonstration, I'm simply going to uncheck this box and click Finish. Now, the next step in the process is to configure or to complete the configuration of the Audit Manager. Now, again, this can be done by using the configuration wizard, but we're going to go through these steps individually. So I'm going to simply go over to the Audit Manager. We'll go ahead and launch that. As you can see, it's looking at it as a new installation. We do need to give it a name. We're going to leave the default for now, so it'll be default installation. Now, the next step is to complete the management database, to set that up. So we could create a new database or use an existing database. Now, for this technical demonstration, I'm just going to create a new database. So I'm going to use this drop down and browse for different servers. I'm going to go over to Network Servers, and I'm going to select my database server. And the database name is going to be the default, once again, default management database to keep it simple, and we'll click Next. Now at this point, we do need to identify the advanced settings. This will be the SQL login account that's going to be required. We're just going to go with the NT Authority system account. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that intact, and we'll click Next. The next step is to license the product. Now again, thinking back to our training, the licensing for audit and monitoring is going to be separate from that of privilege access service and authentication and privilege services. So we will have to have a separate license key for this. So I'll go ahead and add in my key. And the next step is to identify the publication location. Now, again, this is a default location. As you can see here, I can, of course, browse and pick a different location. But for this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and leave this as the default. We'll go ahead and click Next. We'll now need to determine our audit options. Now this has three options that we can choose from. We can enable video capture auditing of user activity. We can prevent users from reviewing their own sessions. We can also prevent users from deleting their own sessions. So depending on your organization practices and your security compliance practices, you may need to check these options, which we'll do here, and we'll click Next. The next step is to review and confirm the options that we've selected for this configuration. we'll just go ahead and click Next. If you want to see the SQL scripts that are going to run against this configuration to complete it, you can simply click the button and it will show you. This is probably a good idea for your DBAs to review and see if there are any conflicts or any concerns regarding what is going to be run on the database server itself. I'll go ahead and close the scripts, and we'll go ahead and click Next, and it will go through the process of creating the new database and completing the configuration. And now, as you can see, the new installation wizard has been completed. We can launch the Audit Store wizard, but once again, we're going through these steps individually. So I'm going to uncheck this option, and we'll click Finish. And as you can see, the Centrify Audit Manager is automatically launched for us, and it's going to be ready for the next stage of our configuration.